you like me to wait?
Well, why don't you let him go? You can get another cab.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the movie star love affairs that are as integral to classic Hollywood history as the movies they made.
Mr. Kennedy has the best seat in the house at the function, and it will be starting just about now, the finale for this affair.
Number 10, Rita Hayworth and Ali Khan. With her second marriage to famed director Orson Welles in the rearview mirror, the Gilda star bounced back quickly. Bombshell is a term that doesn't even begin to cover how moviegoers thought of Rita Hayworth in the late 1940s.
Gilda, are you decent?
Me? Sure, I'm decent.
Ali Khan, the son of Aga Khan, was not even divorced from his own wife yet when he set his sights on the love goddess herself. The two engaged in a passionate affair that culminated in a lavish wedding in Cannes, France in 1949.
Then on to Ali's Chateau de l'Horizon, where part of the welcome consisted of the happy pair's initials in flowers floating on the perfumed swimming pool. The wedding had created world interest. Privacy was impossible. But then that's always the lot of a film star, especially if she marries a prince.
Their fairy tale romance and nuptials drew heaps of publicity, especially when Hayworth announced she would be ending her film career to devote herself to her marriage. The two would, however, divorce just 4 years later in 1953.
I'm going to do exactly what I please when I please. I was true to one man once, and look what happened.
Number 9, Clark Gable and Carole Lombard. For years, he was one of Hollywood's most prolific lovers. His list of partners was as star-studded as one of his movies. Then, Clark Gable fell in love with the fast-talking, quick-witted Carole Lombard.
She swore like a truck driver, and it turned out that eventually that was kind of the woman that he decided he liked. He didn't know he liked that type of woman at the time.
The two appeared in 1932's No Man of Her Own, but wouldn't become an item until 1936. Gable was still legally married to his wife Maria at the time. However, his affair with Lombard was a known secret.
The gossip columnists in the papers in LA were all aware of exactly what was going on with Lombard and Gable. They just never wrote about it because they were under the control of the studios.
Eventually, Gable was able to secure a divorce, and the two married in 1939. People who knew Gable said his years with Lombard were among his happiest. That happiness was short-lived, however, as Lombard was tragically killed in an airplane crash in 1942.
He was past the draft age. He was already in his 40s. So he didn't have to go to war, and MGM did not want their highest valued box office property marching off to death. It was a way to expound his grief, but I think he was quoted as saying to close friends, like, I'm going over there and I don't care if I come back.
Number 8, Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks. It seems only fitting that the two biggest stars of the silent era should get together.
I'll bring thee to the bridal chamber.
The only problem was they were both married to other people when they met. Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks met in 1915 and were soon in a full-blown affair. They began meeting in secret, as the scandal of infidelity would have damaged Pickford's good girl screen persona. One thing they shared above all else was their desire to protect their hard-won careers as movie stars.
Mary Pickford once asked a journalist, Adela Rogers St. John's, if I divorce Owen Moore to marry Douglas Fairbanks, will my public forgive me? Adela Rogers St. John said to her, I can't tell you for sure, but I think they will forgive you everything.
Once they were divorced from their spouses, the two married in 1920 to great fanfare. Until their own separation in 1933, they held court over the industry town from Pickfair, their opulent estate that became the site of elegant dinners and galas.
Amelia Earhart, Einstein, and H.G. Wells were among those who clamored for invitations to Pickfair.
Number 7, Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart. The gruff, no-nonsense star of The Maltese Falcon and Casablanca met his match for Cool on the set of 1944's To Have and Have Not.
You know how to whistle, don't you, Steve? You just put your lips together and blow.
He was 44 and married, and she was 19, debuting her film career. But they fell in love pretty quickly. They didn't make it too hard to figure it out either.
I'm hard to get, Steve. All you have to do is ask me.
How long will it take you to pack?
Audiences got to see their romance blossom through their on-screen counterparts. This was a new development for Bogart. Unlike some of his contemporaries, he had never made a habit of getting involved with his leading ladies. The two married once he divorced his wife, and remained together until his death in 1957.
And whenever I'd be at a party, I would look across the room, and wherever there were people laughing and there was fun,
he was there.
He was there.
At the center of it.
Yes, because he was an original. There wasn't anybody like him.
Number 6, Ava Gardner and Frank Sinatra. The crooner known as Old Blue Eyes has a romantic history about as long as his career, but it was his torrid love affair with Ava Gardner that grabbed headlines and captured our imagination.
The nature of the two people made a lot of headlines. They were both rambunctious, both dynamite, and both highly emotional. You put two sticks of dynamite together and you get an explosion.
The two began seeing each other in 1950, while Sinatra was married to his first wife, Nancy Barbato. His already stalling career was hit even harder by the ensuing moral scandal.
And when they were spotted at a Houston nightclub, even MGM couldn't control the storm that followed.
Thanks to Gardner's influence, however, Sinatra was able to score his major comeback in From Here to Eternity. Still, their tempestuous relationship was the talk of the town. They divorced only a few years later.
Fueled by jealousy and alcohol, there were frequent and violent disputes. These night owls were probably a little too much alike. Excessive, quick-tempered, unfaithful too.
Number 5, Marilyn Monroe and President John F. Kennedy. They were two of the most enigmatic figures of 20th century America, and Marilyn Monroe's provocative performance at then-President Kennedy's birthday celebration at Madison Square Garden was enough to get the gossip mill running.
Happy birthday, Mr. President. Happy birthday to you.
What exactly happened between them is still a mystery. There's been suggestions that Monroe was seeing both the president and his brother, Robert Kennedy.
Marilyn stayed the night here on occasion with the Lawfords as their friend, but also they threw famous parties here. And at various points, the Kennedy brothers both came here.
The fact that so few details of this alleged affair even exist just makes it all the more alluring. Due to the threat of a potential scandal and the tragic fates that befell both Monroe and Kennedy, their rumored relationship has taken on mythic proportions ever since.
I was there at the time when she died. There were some people there that normally wouldn't have been there.
You mean bureau people?
Yes.
Are you aware how long afterwards they came on the scene?
Immediate. Before anybody even realized what happened.
Number 4, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn. Like Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers before them, Tracy and Hepburn became one of classic Hollywood's indelible screen pairs. But unlike Fred and Ginger, Tracy and Hepburn carried their on-screen romance off-screen.
I was wondering about this afternoon.
Sorry.
Tomorrow afternoon?
What's on your mind?
I'd like to take you to a baseball game.
Okay.
The two had a 26-year-long affair, and Tracy and his estranged wife never divorced. Reportedly, Hepburn respected Tracy's marital status, and their relationship remained discreet.
Did it ever bother you that you were having an affair with a married man with 2 small children?
No. No.
That was the line you could cross?
No, I didn't think that way, but I certainly had no intention of breaking up his relationship with his wife.
Tracy passed away mere months after he and Hepburn completed their Oscar-winning work on Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. Interestingly, Hepburn never publicly confirmed the relationship until the 1980s, once Tracy's widow passed away.
What do? You can't be definite about everything in life.
You did not go to Spencer Tracy's funeral?
No, but I was not his wife.
Number 3, Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor. Even though they wed twice, the lovers and frequent co-stars were so volatile and passionate that their romance often seemed more like an epic affair than a marriage.
Am I not wise?
Oh, enough to keep you warm.
Marry, so I mean to warm me in thy bed. Oh! And will you, nill you, I will marry you.
Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor fell for each other on the big-budget historical drama Cleopatra while they were both still married. Taylor to her fourth husband, Eddie Fisher, and Burton to his first wife, Sybil Williams. Moviegoers got to vicariously experience their love through a series of dramatic films that saw the two acting out the tension and histrionics that seemingly dogged their real-life marriage.
I said I warn you.
I'm impressed.
I warned you not to go too far.
I'm just beginning.
Fittingly, news of their affair was broken by the paparazzi. This began a long fascination with the couple that continued until even after their first divorce, remarriage, and second divorce.
I must say we enjoy fighting. I think that fighting with somebody you love and are really sure of, and if you're really sure of yourself in your love, I think having a fight, an out-and-out, outrageous, ridiculous fight, is one of the greatest exercises.
Number 2, Ingrid Bergman and Roberto Rossellini. When she left America to go make a film with the maestro of Italian neo-realism, Casablanca star Ingrid Bergman was as close to an angel as Hollywood had ever seen. But all of that changed when news broke that she and director Roberto Rossellini were having an affair on the set of Stromboli.
In my days, in those days, it was a shock to leave a husband and a child and fall in love with a man and openly show the world that she had fallen in love and not deny the baby to be born.
Both were married at the time, and the public backlash was swift and harsh, with Bergman bearing the brunt of the criticism. She was essentially exiled from Hollywood and her home country of Sweden for several years.
I thought that you should look upon an actress as an actress. What she does on the screen, on the stage, that's what you pay for, and that's what you get. If you don't like the performance, you can walk out. But to criticize people's private life, I thought was wrong.
The two divorced in 1957, and Bergman was finally able to resume her Hollywood career. Their daughter Isabella would later become a renowned actress as well.
Although we sisters are supposed to be invisible, God has nevertheless given us eyes and ears.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1, Elizabeth Taylor and Eddie Fisher. Hollywood was a tight-knit community back in the studio days. Elizabeth Taylor and Debbie Reynolds had taken classes together and been put through the ringer at MGM. They became friends.
When she married Mike, I was her matron of honor. Down in Acapulco, I washed her hair, I set her hair, and got her all dressed for her wedding. Little did I know what the future was going to be.
Their relationship changed forever, however, when news broke that Reynolds' husband, singer and actor Eddie Fisher, was seeing the recently widowed Elizabeth Taylor.
Naturally, my father flew to Elizabeth's side, gradually making his way slowly to her front.
The two married not long after, and the news shattered the illusion behind one of the era's most squeaky clean marriages, tarnishing Taylor's reputation in the process. Reynolds and Fisher's daughter, Carrie Fisher, even likened the ensuing media blitz as a precursor to Brangelina. Within a few years of marriage, Taylor and Fisher had split, and in a happy turn of events, the two ex-friends managed to put their animosity behind them.
I was with Freddie because I was in a blackout. What's your excuse?
He gave me a red convertible, and my mother told me to. She thought he was Italian.
Which classic Hollywood affair did we leave out? Let us know in the comments.
Let's get back to supposing. Supposing I was the guy you were dumb enough to fall for. Then what?
Here's what.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.